Hi, everyone. Teresa Lisum here for Clifton Strengths Deconstructed, Seeing Yourself Anew. So I'm so glad you're here. I'm on my own today. My partner had something else she needed to be at, so it's just me and you. And I'm able to share with you a little bit about the overall concept of Clifton Strengths and why I love them so much. And then we're going to look at a report and dig into it and see what this person is all about. So, Clifton Strengths has been around quite a while, I just realized. It's an assessment. It takes about a half an hour of uninterrupted time. You answer a series of questions on a scale, basically like a this or that, or where you fall between them. And then it gives you an immediate set of results that looks like a strength report, which I'll show you here in a second. And it's your strengths, your innate abilities, your innate talents, as they're referred to from Clifton and Gallup. They are ranked in an order from 1 to 34. We all have these 34 strengths, but the top 10 energizes us more than those at the bottom. So we don't focus on weaknesses. We focus on only what we're good at, our innate abilities, things that we're really good at and come naturally for us. And we might not even realize are a strength because they are so natural for us. So let me go ahead and pull up my report here that I have for us today. So this is 1 through 34. We all have these strengths in some degree, but we like to really focus on these top 10. This is your zone of genius. This is where you are your most energized, your most productive, your most creative, your most efficient, your most authentic self comes when you're operating and using these top 10 strengths. Anything down at the bottom are just strengths that are not serving you in any way. There could possibly be de-energizing you, and they're just not useful to you. They're probably making you appear inauthentic to other people, causing some stress, maybe some relationship issues, if this is where you feel you need to be operating from. And I'll speak about those here in a few seconds. Those that line up in the middle, those strengths, are neither here nor there. They have no energy whatsoever. They're just neutral. I don't even really know what's in the middle and where they line up for me because it's unimportant to me. My main focus is my top 10. And of course, number one is the most energizing to any person. And then the energy kind of just decreases just a little bit as we move down that list. Clifton has pulled together Gallup. We kind of use those two terms interrelated. Clifton, Gallup, they're coming from the same place, the same company, has created these categories, these themes. I refer to them as domains that every strength falls in. So this gives, when you know what domain or what theme your strengths fall in, it gives you an overarching view of how you like to think, how you show up in the world, who you are in general. And that in and of itself answers a lot of questions. So let's take a look at this particular person's top 10. You see they're all color coded here. So the first thing I do when I'm looking at a report is I look at the colors and put them in the appropriate categories, the domains. And this person has 4 green strengths. That falls in the strategic thinking domain. Anytime a person has 3 or more strengths in any particular domain, that domain is important to them. This person has 4 in the strategic thinking domain. So that domain is pretty prevalent in their life. So a strategic thinker is a person who enjoys information. They enjoy thinking. They enjoy data. They enjoy maybe facts. They enjoy the process of thinking. And they may spend a lot of time inside their head. And so outwardly, it might not look like they're being very productive, but for them, there's a lot of things, they're taking a lot of action in their head. And they need their alone time. They need their thinking time. They need their time to allow that thinking to take place. So if somebody in your life is really, really stressed, just stop and think that maybe they are a high strategic thinker and they're not getting that time to themselves where they can use their mind in a way that they enjoy. I know I have a daughter like that who I didn't realize was a high strategic thinker till I saw her strengths lineup, and I was actually pretty shocked. And that explained to me why she suffers a lot of stress, because she doesn't get her thinking time with little kids, being a mom and working. So she needs to understand that and embrace that and set boundaries for herself, knowing that she needs that thinking time. This person also kind of has a split between relationship building and executing. So they have 3 relationship building strengths and 3 executing strengths. So they have 3, so that means that's still important to them. And this person, I would have to have them in front of me to really see which one kind of pops up first. There's always going to be one of an even split, one that, just as a slightly stands out a little bit ahead of the other one. If I had to guess, I would say the relationship building strengths and domain is the secondary domain. So this person likes to think, enjoys thinking, spend time in their head, but they also like to connect with people. That's the relationship building domain. The relationship building domain is one where people love and need connection. Connecting with people energize them. And executing that domain is a doer, doing, taking action, being productive, getting things done. That is the executing domain. And then the last domain I'm not really talking about here today, because this person does not have any strengths in their top 10 that fall into this category, but that is the influencing domain. And that is a person who likes to move people forward. They like to move people from point A to point B, and they can see all the steps in between. And it energizes them to help people or a particular person or a group to move forward towards their goal and be successful. Now, because this person, their influencing strengths don't start till number 19 in position, doesn't mean they don't influence people. Okay? It's not of highest priority to them in terms of moving people forward. They still influence people, but in their own way through their strategic thinking domain. So if you have relationship building high, you still get things done as an executor would, but it's not as important, or you do it your own way as a connector, as opposed to a person who's just constantly in action, maybe by themselves, doing. So that's a little explanation of the domains. So this particular person, I'm going to say, loves to do everything in a way that honors their desire to think, learn, and create. So I'm just going to stop there because I'm not sure whether their second domain is relationship or executing. So this person, we're going to talk about some individual strengths, but I just want you to know that the strengths weave together in a beautiful tapestry in any particular person. So even though I'm pulling them out one at a time, they actually work together. They work in tandem with the strengths closest to them. When I hear a person speaking and I'm looking at their strengths, I can hear certain strengths talking. It's just a beautiful thing. Understanding the strengths concept is really helpful in understanding ourselves, yes, but other people as well. And we all think differently. Our strengths lineup is all different. There's not one person on the planet with your lineup of strengths or with this person's lineup of strengths. Every single person on our planet and into the future is different and unique. We like to say infinitely unique. So to me, that in and of itself, just knowing that is very empowering and gives me the motivation to do what I can do here in my lifetime with my gifts. And all of our strengths are gifts that we are here to give the world, to offer the world. And this is something I just heard just yesterday. So no one else can do what you do. So if you don't show up being you, the rest of the world will miss out on your contribution and on your gifts. So if you're the only person on the planet that can be you with your lineup of strengths that are your gifts, and you don't use them to help the world, then there's nobody else that's going to be able to substitute or replace what you have to offer. Before I get into one or two individual strengths, I just want to say that strengths are neither good nor bad. They're just neutral. So we never have to say like, oh, I wish I had command higher, or I wish I had futuristic higher. That's irrelevant. We are given these gifts of our top 10, and we can use them to replace or as a substitute for any of the other strengths further down in the list. Or maybe we're using a combination of 2 or 3 strengths to replace or in lieu of that futuristic strengths. So they are neutral. It's just what we do with them. They can almost be seen as amplifiers or potentialities. So if we don't understand them or know about them and acknowledge them, that's okay. But when we lean into them and learn to leverage them, then we are amplifying our gifts. And we're really making them even more useful for people in our world, people around us. So let's take a look at just quickly a few of these bottom strengths. The bottom strengths, again, they're not weaknesses, they're just strengths. Just they're not serving us. So I like to allow people to just let them go and know that they don't have to worry about these at all. So this person does not have to worry about connecting quickly with new people. They don't have to try to win new people over. It's just not energizing to them. They don't have to work the room in a group setting and go meet people and connect. And that's woo. They don't have to do that. This person does not have to take command of situations. They don't have to have a really powerful presence. They don't have to make decisions for everybody because their command is really low. A person of high command is going to like take charge, step in, and start possibly giving orders, possibly. Every strength plays out differently for every single person. But this person doesn't have to worry about that. This person does not have to worry about inspiring others with a hopeful view of the future. That's futuristic. They don't have to do that. Being a visionary is not important to them, so they can let that go. So that's what's useful about knowing those bottom 5 is just understanding, hey, we can let those go. Just get them out of your head. They're not there to serve us in any way. So let's go up and look at some of the top 10, which are serving us and are highly energizing for us. So this person's very first one is empathy. Empathy is number 1. This person is the most energized by being highly emotionally intelligent, feeling emotions, being sensitive to other people's feelings, being able to imagine what it's like to walk in another person's shoes. Just really, understanding the way people are thinking and feeling. They can almost gauge the energy of a group or possibly of another person. They can be very intuitive and pick up on energy that's around them. They're very aware, could be very good listeners. So this person, it's a relationship building skill. This person can learn to really leverage that sensitivity to other people, which could be viewed as a soft skill, but it can also be very, very powerful in being able to apply it to different areas of our lives, because ultimately that's what we're doing. We're learning about our strengths, being able to use them as gifts to the world, and applying them to different areas of our lives, such as health, our finances, or our income, our relationships, our belief in ourselves. So empathy is very low for me. So I can intellectually understand people and their feelings and the journey they're on, but I can't actually feel their energy, feel what they're feeling, whereas a high empathy person can. Let's go to context. Context is interesting. Another one that I have low that I can intellectually understand, but I can't really understand how to live with it. But I have several family members that do have high context. So a person of high context, and number 5 is an important strength. It just sits right in the middle. I like to think of it as a default strength that we just kind of go to when we're not really thinking a lot or putting a lot of energy or intention in what we're doing. So context is a person who values the past and uses the past to make sense of and make decisions in the here and now. So they use that understanding of what took place in the past, whether it's a global past, a community past, a personal past, a family past, and seeing the gems in there and seeing what can be brought forward to use in a new situation. I know I had a conversation with a person who had context at number 1, and she gave me a really, really thorough clarity around how she uses context in her life. In fact, she had trouble imagining how people live without context high. And here I have context low, and I have trouble imagining what it's like living with context high. So again, just having an understanding, even a simplistic understanding of our strengths and another person's strengths, really gives us the ability to communicate better and see where they're coming from in the world and in their brain. So people of high context can enjoy thinking about the past. They might appreciate reading or learning about history, but they may not. They may not. Two people in my family who have context high, one enjoys learning about the past and one does not. So it's all highly individualized to each person. And again, how their strengths are lined up. Let's see. I'm going to go to adaptability, which is interesting that it is up here. Adaptability is like an in the moment strength. This person can go with the flow and adapt to what's happening in the moment. They can be very spontaneous, very responsive, react very quickly to what's going on, be in, again, the now moment, which is interesting because context is sitting there at number 5. So this person looks to the past and brings that past to the future and possibly is able to take that information and help themselves adapt to what's going on. So this is not always, these are not always high together. Sometimes they're at opposite ends of the report, but it's so interesting. I'd love to talk to this person and see how their context and their adaptability play together and work themselves together in their real life. So it's so interesting. Every single person is so unique. After every one of these reports, I know me and Linda, my partner who's usually here, we're always like, this person is so awesome. Once you see a person's strength report, you can just see how brilliant they are, how they shine their light in the world, and what their gifts are. And we really are, every one of us, unique, shining, delightful, awesome individuals. The trouble is, not everybody knows it. Not everybody realizes it. I know I didn't realize it till somebody read my report and told me what they were seeing about myself just by looking at this report. And I was just stunned. I was absolutely shocked. I was amazed, like who is he talking about? I don't recognize hearing about that person. And he was talking about me. And I've seen people cry when they hear somebody reflect back to them who they are by looking at their strengths. And it's just so empowering to really see yourself from this new perspective. It is, and that's why I want to share it with the world, because it is so empowering. I learned to believe in myself more. I saw my value more. And it was just an experience that I would love to share with so many other people. So if you would like to see yourself from a new perspective, please connect with me. Send me a message. I would love to show you how awesome you are and help you take that information, take that empowered knowledge about yourself and step into that next version of yourself. It is just so exciting. I do want to quickly mention before we jump off that this person is very practical. Now, practical has a little bit different definition than the dictionary definition, but the way their strengths, when I count them up, this person, it's very important to them to start their day off in a measurable, tangible way, things that they can control, things that are specific, step by step and observable. And then once they get that practical routine in place, and they can control their morning routine, and then that helps them start their day in a real positive, wonderful way. And instead of jumping out of bed and stepping into chaos and things are just not in their control, and then their whole day goes in that direction. So it's very important for this person to control what they can first thing in the morning, create their own routine of controllables, things that, you know, they can do, they can create for themselves, get that sense of control, and then they can go on into their day. But it's a nuance of the strengths understanding that is really, really powerful. And once they get control of the beginning part of their day, then their day will go off in that trajectory. So just some things that I've learned in the past year that can be so helpful to so many people. Like I learned that I need to come into situations, or I do come into situations with certain expectations, certain rules in my head that I expect everybody to follow. But when I'm in those situations, I've forgotten that nobody else knows the rules, the expectations that are in my head. So that was an epiphany and an understanding I came to this past year that has really been helpful for me to be able to communicate my expectations in situations so that everybody's not frustrated with me and we're not, butting heads. So I hope some of this information was intriguing for you. Maybe you saw yourself in some of these strengths. I'd love to help you see yourself from this new perspective. So please, again, connect with me, leave a comment, DM me, however you want to reach me. I'm on multiple platforms. If this was helpful information and you think other people can benefit from it, please share this recording. You can go to my YouTube channel. I house all of these there. Go subscribe and like my YouTube channel. While you're there, check out my Evolving Women episodes where I get to talk to the most amazing people and what they're doing to uplift and heal the world. So I want to thank you, my friends. So appreciate you being here, being part of this. We're here every week. Next week, I will be off on a trip, but my partner Linda will be here with another coach. They're going to go through a report as well. But we'd love to bring you into this whole strengths concept and wrap our strength around you so that you can go out and shine even brighter than you do. So thank you so much, my friend. See you the next time. Have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week.